management and live technical production with the company called ESP Africa that does the Cape Town International Jazz Festival. Then went into some media, also studied PR. And then, long story short, started chatting to a group of people who became an independent record label. We kind of started it. It was Cape Town based and it was called Rudel Records, so it still is. And then went on to discover, manage, and build a brand that is Jimmy Nevis. Since after that, I've worked for Rudel for about 4 years. And then I left the company and started my own artist management, brand management, consulting PR company called Parker and Entertainment. I now consult and represent a few other up-and-coming artists, obviously to build the brand just as we did with Jimmy. And yeah, that's me.
She's not just pretty, she's also smart. Ooh. Lauren Parks, people. Jerry, that's you, dog.
Yeah, shit. Can you make this thing a little bit softer as you can hear my voice is high pitched?
He's gonna hit a freestyle. Everyone grab 4 things, lift it up in the air.
No.
Wrong one. Oh, my bad.
My name is Cider Williams, more commonly known as Jerry Brand. It's just an alias of mine in the industry. My background is nothing close to Lauren. I actually feel like an idiot sitting over here. I'm more of a test. Yeah, that's much better. College dropout. Discovered youngster with a guy called the Muffin Man. Youngster's current DJ and producer. Started out in events with a company called Brand Entertainment. That's where my alias comes from. Started dabbling with various other things in the industry. Tapped to a passion for music, obviously based off youngster's talent. Just started pushing him. I actually had no direction or idea of what I wanted to do in the industry. That's where I thought, okay, no one wants to book youngster. I'm just going to start booking him myself and creating our own events. Got into events. Stuck it out with artist management until we developed a team. We now have...
Shout out Jerry.
Yeah. No pressure. No pressure.
The man with the suit. You don't need pressure,
No pressure. That's why I'm wearing a suit today. I'm like, you know what?
Introduction needed, eh?
So at least I got 10 for, the dressing up. But yes, no substance. Kidding. My name, do you want a short version or the long version? Short. Okay, sharp. I'm Vincent. I'm kidding, man.
What's the slave name? I want the slave name, my man.
Okay, Kamalam Gumvela, Vincent.
Vincent it is. Vincent.
Yeah.
Vincent.
I'm a boy from Ikailicha, born and bred in the hood. I'm a hood nigga in a suit. So, and I read too. So, stereotype out the window. Yeah, man, I man, I have to pay back the money. Listen, so by the way, kidding, guys. Fast forward matters. I'm a guy who loves music and still loves music. I knew I couldn't sing, but somehow I still wanted to be involved in the scene, And Nirvana's not my first single winner. It's actually my second or third.
But it's your biggest, so it's your first.
Okay, sharp. So I just had to rectify that.
It's the only one I back announced.
So I started off in the hood. I started off as a kaki, closing taxi doors. Hello retreat, hello Kaapstad. And
no, true story, guys.
True, I swear. Eh? And we grew up very poor in the hood. But I was passionate, and in the taxis you gotta love music. You can't even hear, it's just the bass. But there's a song behind the bass somewhere, Guys, I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a stand-up comedian / DJ. So I then fell in love with music. I discovered artists who were doing opera at the time. I wanted to learn how to release artists and just how to create a brand. So I started off when I discovered guys called Heavily Cortez. I did the whole shebang, got the album to shelves, and got them booked nationally and some internationally. I saw that I could do that with other artists, and I knew that if I would apply all the formula or the strategy in their brand, I could better my brand too. Hence Vincent. I've been a DJ for the past 10, 11 years. I release songs, I shoot my own videos, I'm just involved in the scene. I've got a business partner called Lloyd, some know him, DJ Lloyd. We've got an event called the Gas Experience that's aimed at empowering artists as well as entrepreneurship in townships, especially impoverished backgrounds and communities throughout the rest of the country. We've been doing that for the past 7 years. Got an agency that does concept development, strategy and research, and so forth. I can go on the whole day, but that's what I do. I love creating cool shit and making money out of it. Sharp.
Shout out to Vince.
Okay. Before we move any further, yeah?
Up next, we got Sam, the brand manager. Where's Sam? He gonna tell a little something. Where's Sam? Right there we go.
Oh, Sam.
Good evening, sir.
Evening, guys. Sorry, it's a little awkward. I think we reversed the order a bit, but I basically am here just to give you guys context as to why we brought these fine people to chat to you guys today. You guys can hear me? Okay, cool. Basically, as hunters, we have always been about, you know, being together and facing on the heat. You know, we know that life brings the heat. I think every one of us knows a little bit about the heat, the environment the country is currently in. And we realize that the heat that we are all facing, of course with the refreshment of hunters by our side, the heat we are all facing is really just making us despondent as the youth of this country. So what we decided to do was very simply help you guys be better than that, help you guys go forward and really overcome and become the best possible versions of yourself. So we decided to start something. And start something really just means for us giving each and every one of you the opportunity to be the biggest and best talents that you possibly can be. What we realized was the opportunity was, I'm sure you guys all heard about it, the 90-10% rule that SABC instituted sometime last year. And we realized that the music industry has a massive disconnect. You have the very top, and I'm sure you guys all know the very top who are killing it, and then we have a lot of talent at the bottom, and there just really is no middle. So for us, we're just helping by, I guess, creating that stairway for you guys. And we've created great opportunities. I think giving you guys platforms like this where you talk to industry insiders about everything that you need to know about music, giving you guys Metro FM radio collaborations where we give young up-and-coming artists a chance to collaborate with artists like MT. Please look out for that. That's on radio currently. And our song actually comes out in a few weeks. So this is just one of the channels. And of course, we've partnered up with great scouts like Thabo just to help us find you guys, the artists, and help you guys be part of this campaign. So please do enjoy the panel tonight. I think it's a great panel. Thank you.
Shout out to Sam.
Cool. This is the time where I introduce myself, but apparently I'm the host, so if you don't know me, then it means you're gate crashing. So, kidding, I'm not going to go into that one. So basically, just top line, I'm Thabo Mobo, involved in the music industry on various levels, with various different companies. I'm really just passionate about the music industry and also development within the music industry, predominantly Cape Town and the Western Cape. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now. Let's hit straight into the topics. As I said, we've got 4 questions that we're going to try and get through. And as I mentioned, it's a conversation. There will be some point. We've got a cordless mic here. Okay, no, we'll figure it out. But there's going to be some point where we can do a bit of a Q&A with you guys as well. I think should we keep that to the end or at the end of each question? Okay, we'll keep it right at the end. Okay, so our topics. The first question that we are going to hit. Yes, it is lights up bright. Eh? Okay. Yeah. Okay, the first topic that we're hitting is the issue around different artists fitting into mainstream commercial genres. Should they get rid of the unique edge in order to fit in? and get their music out there, how can musicians be creative? How can musicians be creative and fit into the traditional mold at the same time? So did you guys get that, or should I read it again? I'll read it once more. The issue around different artists fitting into the mainstream commercial genres. Should they get rid of their unique edge in order to fit in and get their music out there? How can musicians be creative and fit into the traditional mold at the same time? I think I'll kick that off with you, Jerry. Working with an artist like Youngster, I think this... Salute, yeah. Salute. This is something that you would have a bit to share or talk about on.
Yeah, it's actually nailed on head, especially with the circumstance around Youngster. The biggest challenge that we've always had with Youngster, over and above the fact that he could literally kick out a mixtape a day, that alone is obviously speaking more about his work ethic. To push out a lot of music all the time is industry standard says it's not a good thing because it doesn't leave enough breathing space for people to latch on nationally. And Thabo and I were touching base on this earlier. The way we did it was we just do it. Well, the term that I like to use is attach as many arms to Youngster's brand or business as possible, because that makes up for the shortfall of him or one of his songs penetrating the mainstream. Because if AKA were to drop or Jimmy Nevis were to drop a track tomorrow, nationally everyone knows about the joint. Youngster drops Veska up like the beginning of this year. It still hasn't penetrated nationally. However, his brand is recognized nationally through other streams attached to his brand. So from a creativity point of view, that is actually the biggest challenge. How far can you stretch your business and your brand, you know? If Youngster was just an artist pushing music, he wouldn't have been in the place where he is today. Purely because he's already a different artist. There's no vernac or anything, you understand? The industry is going this way with the music. Youngster is still representing that unique Cape Town flavor, you know, and he's been persistent about it. He's not going to change so the industry can accept him, you know what I mean? And more importantly, the public, because I mean the public, in this industry, the public pays the bills straight up, you know, so he wasn't going to adapt and be like, oh, I need to do a turn-up joint, oh, I need to do this, oh, I need to flip to this, because that's what's trending at the moment. He's stuck to his guns, and people need to like me for me. They need to buy my music for me. You understand?
Doesn't that make the journey or make it harder for you? Like, in the context, I guess, of the hip-hop industry, it's called being real or whatever.
No, definitely it does. It is a little bit of a challenge, but it brings me back to my initial point of creating more arms to your business. If you look at YGen, which is the holding company of the Youngster CPT brand, there's events attached to the Youngster CPT name. There's merchandise attached to the Youngster CPT name. And when I say events, the word events even gets stretched out a bit further, down to party activation, in-store activations, the works, you know what I mean? And all these things are coming out from the in-house platform. We're not relying on any corporate to make this shit happen, you understand? So we sit in-house and be like, okay, cool. Brings me back to my introduction, where no one was booking Youngster, because when we started out in the industry, I mean, I'm 25 years old now. We started out when we were all 18 years old. We thought we had this perception, oh, no, shit, Youngster's dope, we're going to blow up, you know, overnight kind of a thing. And we obviously learned the hard way. No one was booking Youngster. Because how do you want to book Youngster? No one knows about his songs. And that's how I got into events, like I mentioned earlier on. We created our own platform. You have to create your own platform. No one's going to give it to you. Thabo and I were chatting earlier on. The biggest problem in Cape Town at the moment is artists are coming and DJs are coming to me on a daily basis, even promoters, yo, how do you do this, how do you do that? The problem is no one knows actually how to work Monday to Friday. You know what I mean? If you're a DJ, you think you must just post your gig out and shop, work is done for the day. No, my friend. You actually need to fill your diary up Monday to Friday. Get creative. How far can you push your brand? And most importantly, because we don't come from a background of money where we had capital to start out with we have capital to do what we're currently doing, we had to bank on relationships, and that is vital in this industry. If we didn't know the people that we knew back then, we wouldn't have been where we are today. You understand? Everyone on this panel, I've somehow worked with them through the industry, through a different connect, through a different channel. Money hasn't gotten the Youngster CPT brand to where it is today. It's only getting bigger and better, and that's based on relationships. Relationships, work ethic, and creating your own platform across the board. When I say create your own platform, no one's going to book you. Create your own event or have your own show. create an external aspect to the brand, whether you're selling things, another brand buying into it, whatever the case may be, stretch your brand as far as possible. And in the same breath, it needs to make brand sense. I mean, we're at the point now where we get in offers from various corporate companies, but they just want to make youngster look like a puppet, you understand? Cool, the check sounds good, but it needs to make brand sense, first of all, you know? So build yourself up to a point where you're in demand, you understand? So now we're at the point we're sitting back, okay, cool, people's now coming to us. We no longer have to go to people, you know? At the same breath, yes, we're still students in this industry. We're always learning, meeting new people, and making the most of those relationships. So just to answer your question, Thabo, the biggest challenge that we had to overcome, like, you know, for the music to resonate nationally, with youngster, because the industry is going this way. It has this particular sound. Lack of a better term, I'll use the phrase turn up. Youngster hasn't been about that. We're rather stuck to our guns, attach more arms to youngsters' brand and business, and focus on all things simultaneously. You understand? Once again, according to how far budget and your contacts and relationship in this industry allows.
Okay, I guess that's a business model that is working for you guys and seems to be working, but I'll open it up to you guys as well. But do you think there's anything wrong with doing that? Conforming to what sort of the commercial space or the mainstream wants. At the end of the day, McDonald's sells burgers, you know, like there's no way you're going to want to try and change how a burger's being made. Bun, patty, lettuce, cheese, whatever it is. So exactly in that sense, why change or why try to change the way the system works in terms of this is the mainstream, this is what they require, or this is what you need to do in order for you to sort of potentially break it into the mainstream. I'll open that up to you guys as well. You can,
Ladies first.
Well, I think the decision you have to make is, do you want to be mainstream? And as great as it sounds to have a hit song on all radio stations, is that your sound? So the advice I can give, and you guys can, let me know how you feel about it, but it's to really listen to what is playing on the radio. Have a listen. Different stations obviously, play different styles of music depending on their target markets and demographics and cities. But if you want to have a song that's playlisted, for example, my advice would be to listen to what's on the radio, sit with that, see, because you need to understand why is that song being played on the radio as opposed to someone else's song that's not being playlisted. There must be a reason. Is it the production? Is it the style? Is it the genre? Is it, great songwriting, good hooks, whatever it is? Because I'm speaking on behalf of like pop and alternative, so it's a bit different. But then take that information and then see how you can work that into what you're doing now. That's the advice that I would give. You obviously have your own sound. You could try and learn from what is playing and make it your own.
So like take that burger, put chakalaka in it and adapt it so like you're not moving away too much from the burger.
It sounds ridiculous, and I'm not trying to say be a sellout, but I'm saying obviously radio stations know what they want to be played on radio. And when I send songs to radio stations and they don't playlist it, I demand to know why. I need constructive criticism as to why they're not playlisting and what is the reason. Example, one of the acts that I manage, they are instrumentalists. And they released a song that was very instrumental. A few words here and there. And the station came back and said, there's not enough words in the song. And I said, well, they play instruments. There's not going to be a lot of words in the song. But what we did was we went back to the drawing board and we were like, okay, this is where we want to go with the style of music. Maybe add a featured artist on board to have that sing-along, to have that hook, and then, resubmit. And then it got playlisted. So it's you always need to demand feedback from these stations. But with that being said, it's not the be-all and end-all if you do not have a song played on radio. Youngster is a great... It is not the be-all and end-all if you do not have a song playlisted on radio. It's not.
Snap.
Yeah, and for example, Youngsters are a great example of that. Yep.
Just very quickly on what Lauren said. Yeah, we don't bank on the radio stations or TV. The way the world is going now, it's a big digital platform out there. So that is what we bank on, you understand, from a youngster perspective. So cool youth. The radios will tell us, no, it's a bit too hard, lack of a better term, this is too colored for radio, no, there's profanity and swear words, because that's what the radio told me last week with a track called Westkap. There's no swear words, there's no profanity, but because it's Cape Town, lingo is not adapting to the mainstream, therefore they're not going to play it, and I find that to be bullshit, but it's all good. We have social network platforms to rely on, you understand? It's not affecting youngsters' business. If there was no social media in existence today, cool, different story, we'll be forced to adapt. But yeah, long story short, don't just bank on radios and the TV channels. Create your own on social streams. I mean, there's bloggers out there that is posting ridiculous shit and it's getting a ridiculous amount of traction. It's all about how you position yourself in the market.
Just two points before we get to Vincent with a comment. The first thing that I wanted to point out is, like, at the end of the day, as you said, like, firstly, do you want to be a commercially successful artist? Like, I think we all have that assumption that in order for us to be successful artists, we essentially need to be commercially successful artists.
That's not the case.
At the end of the day, it's about what do you want out of it. If it's about keeping your artistic integrity and making music that speaks to you as an individual, cool. But then don't complain about rent at the end of the month. That no rent because I'm not commercial, So, like, we in this music industry for different things, and that's one thing that we need to understand. Second thing, just with regards to conforming, I think we need to understand, or the space that we're in at the moment, in the sense that as creatives, as artists, as consumers, we're really in a cool space in the sense that we don't need traditional forms of media in order for us to get our shit out there. As Ricky said it, like, the cool shit's not on radio. Like, you find music all over on the internet. That's where the really cool stuff is at. So I think as this generation, we're really lucky in terms of the various platforms that we have to share or whatever our music. So let's learn how to take advantage of those platforms and not always look towards sort of traditional spheres. Vince, any?
Well, I'm just listening. All of this. I think for me, you said it, like, you said everything, and I think it depends on the artist. I think there's not one blanket approach in arts. I can't record youngster. The same brand as Vincent, and they're kind of the same plan. And I think now you need to know your plan, and I think you need to work your plan, and stick to your plan. If it makes sense to you, and you know where you're heading to, work that plan, And I think you need to respect your audience, So if you have a following, you've built it, cater to them, respond to them. They'll tell you what they need, Respond to always listen to the consumer. Yeah, well, listen to the kids, And also, I think you ain't got the answers, man.
Hashtag.
So, and then also, I think also, particularly in South Africa, I think I've traveled a bit. So, and we only think of South Africa as artists. There are 7 billion people in the world, So you can go push your music elsewhere. We don't have to be big here in order to be big. You should be a global act. Don't only think that you're a Cape Town act or Joburg act. Joburg is another place, bro. So just think globally, and then try to position yourself and be relevant in the spaces which will respond to music as well. So don't limit your own growth. I think for us, we look to Joburg a lot. We must make it in Joburg, and then what? And then what? So for me, Joburg is another place. I want the world, So it's important, the moves you make will be informed by how far you want to go, I suppose.
Nice one. I think that's a good one.
I just want to touch on Sir Vincent's comment there. You have to be yourself, you have to be different. If you look at a group that was actually said they couldn't do music, the Antwoord is the biggest South African group ever. You can quote me on that. They are the biggest South African group ever.
Globally.
You know what I mean? The biggest. And everyone said that when Ninja was here, he couldn't rap, he was a gimmick. One of the biggest groups in Amsterdam, one of the most successful South African people to ever go to LA, more successful than Black Coffee, and that's a fact. And they came with a gimmick by being themselves and not wanting to be on radio. And they're now on TV, on radio. Jessica Alba even said it's their favorite group. You know what I mean? So they're touching into other avenues and not worrying about South Africa because South Africa didn't want them. So shout out to the Antwoord. As different as they are, they're the only South Africans that have a Hollywood movie as well. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just to touch on that point, like it amazes me or scares me, I think sometimes, how comfortable so many South African acts are with like just being in South Africa or just being big in South Africa. I think, like you said, the Antwoord, the likes of Black Coffee, I mean, guys that you may not know, like Ladysmith Black Mambazo and many others, are like, it feels like we're only starting to get ourselves out there. And like, as you said, the world is your market, guys. Like, so there may not be a market for you in Cape Town. There may not be a market for you in Johannesburg. But as we're saying, the world is your market. So don't always just look to South Africa or like, yeah, box yourself in that sense. I think let's move on to the next questions. I think we've thrashed that out a bit. The second question or the second topic that we have is, yeah, I think I like this one. And you guys are going to love this one as well. One of the biggest hurdles for emerging artists is how to book gigs. Obviously, networking is key, but what else? What are the best channels, etc.? Yeah, so who wants to start on it?
Look, I'll take a stab on it. I think there are no shortcuts, Chief. You know, there are no shortcuts. It's about putting a good product out there, first of all. And it's about building it gradually and great positioning. It's about building those relationships, you know. And also, don't be scared to do free shows in the beginning. I did free shows. For me, I was some lady last week tried to inbox me. And they were like, yo, Vince, are you available this date? I was like, yeah, it's still available. When I went and I checked, it's not our first time us chatting. This lady, 2007, booked me for 150. And then I charged the same lady today 10K, for instance. You know, and she paid it. But there was a relationship, a long-standing relationship, and I could show her what I'm capable of. And you know, so don't be scared. I think because our generation, I always say, 2-minute noodle kids. We want instant gratification, you know. I'm 30 years today, you know, and I'm still young. I'm not where I'm destined to be, but I'm still working my plan. So I think work your plan, be patient, invest in your brand, travel. If you got travel, I think traveling for me is one of the things that will open your mind. And also, we selling an experience, we're selling perception as well. So the busier you look as well, trust me. Yeah, people want to back a winning horse, Chief. I'm not going to back you if you're just lambing there with your nice rhymes in your own house. No, dog. I want to see you investing in your own brand. So for me, it's just, that's what I did for my brand. That's what I continue to do for my brand.
So you say those Dubai trips helped?
I don't have a place. Yes. I'm kidding.
Okay. Just. I'm gonna try and tackle it a bit. Mine is. Okay. I'm gonna say it's simple, but at the end of the day, like, you are selling a product. The product is, say, Vincent, or it's whoever it is. You're selling a product, and like, for me, if you systematically follow, like, how any other business would sell a product, it all lies within that. So, firstly, don't expect, as you said, like, the first time that you're out there, you're going to be like, I charge 10K, you know. What is your product worth, or what's the value that's attached to this product that you're trying? Secondly, like, don't we get, like, tasting a sample of your product before, you know, I'm going to pay you that 10K. Thirdly, at the end of the day, like with most events or most festivals, most whatever artists are getting booked on, it's about how many people are you going to bring through the door? Or alternatively, what sort of conversations?
The promoter.
yeah. Shout out to the promoter. Yeah, that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. So like, it needs to make business sense for me to book you. So cool, you're an amazing artist. Personally, I believe you're the best artist in the world. What's your name?
Ian.
Ian is the best gospel singer in South Africa at the moment, but nobody knows who the hell Ian is. And like literally, he can sing up there with Kim Peral or Svisong or whatever it is, but nobody knows about him. So it's cool, yes, you're the best in South Africa, but like you need to go through those steps of like, okay, do tasting and go to the churches, church tour, splashy fan, whatever it is, and get the product out there. It's really, at the end of the day, you're selling a product, and that's the way you should try and see it. I don't know if you want to add on, guys?
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up there. Just to add on to that, I mean, I come from a little bit of background where I used to manage DJs once upon a time, and I've experienced various ups and downs with him. So I swing both sides of the fence. On the one side, I'm a promoter, on the other side, I'm an artist manager. So when I'm doing bookings for my own events, obviously sitting on the one side of the fence where I'm negotiating for a good rate. And it's exactly what Thabo said. Up until today, DJs are slapping me with ridiculous rates, and their brand can't back it up. You understand? But they'll turn back and say, no, this promoter's cheap, kind of a thing. Like, if you're not even willing to negotiate, if I were to book Sir Vincent, I'm not even going to negotiate. You understand? His brand speaks it all. You understand? DJs need to understand.
Guys, you heard him, ne? Yeah, sure.
So yeah, and also at the same time, also like just to highlight what Thabo said, invest in your brand, make it a product that consumers would want to purchase. Guys in the